Welcome to the Industrial Talk Podcast with Scott McKenzie. Scott is a passionate industry professional dedicated to transferring cutting-edge, industry-focused innovations and trends while highlighting the men and women who keep the world moving. So put on your hard hat, grab your work boots, and let's go.
All right. Thank you very much for joining Industrial Talk, and thank you very much for your support. This is here it is, Massimo. This is the shot. This is the #1 industrial-related podcast in the universe, and it's backed up by data.
Okay, wow.
You can trust that, right?
Okay.
And it is a platform that celebrates industry professionals all around the world because you are bold, you are brave, you dare greatly, you innovate, you collaborate, you're making the world a better place, and therefore making my life easier, which is very important. And we are broadcasting on site, IoT Solutions World Congress 23, Barcelona. And if you're not here, you need to put this on your calendar. It is growing. It has an incredible selection and companies that are focused on solving problems like this company, Arduino. In the hot seat, Massimo. Let's get cracking. Hi, Massimo.
Hi, Scott.
So here's a story, listeners. And it is a small world story. So we're going out to dinner last night. I have my entourage with me. My wife and my sister. And we go to this restaurant, and I run into Arduino in Barcelona. How about that? That's freaky as heck, man. I got to tell you, man. And I've never met Arduino in person. It was just always been by Zoom, and that's it. And I go, and you know what? You guys look the same on Zoom. There's no difference. It is what it is. So, how are you doing? Are you having a good conference there?
Yeah, it's quite interesting. So thanks for having me. It's quite interesting to be here. It's also very interesting to see how this world is changing a little bit. Because
a little bit.
No,
maybe not.
Okay, massively.
There you go, man.
But I'm Italian. We tend to understate, while the Americans tends to be over enthusiastic about stuff.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Slapperton.
No, it's not. It's just a difference in culture.
Yeah, that's good.
No, but I'm saying it's interesting to see the evolution of these events. Because they used to be bigger in a way, and I think it is actually a good way that this is the reason that this is becoming smaller, because the IoT is not like a separate industry anymore. It's starting to become part of established industries.
See, what was concerning me is when somebody would say IoT. It's like all of a sudden IoT, that becomes the miscellaneous file. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't really provide clarity. Yes, IoT device, tracking data, got it. But there's just digital twin. How do you use it? How do you use IoT to make better decisions, to do it? And yeah, you're absolutely spot on. It is sort of distilling down.
So every industry now has new ways of doing things that are basically IoT, but there's no need to call it IoT. It's just a new way to do what they have been doing.
Which brings us, it's a good segue, because I've been very fascinated with Arduino. The solutions that Arduino provides, the community that Arduino works within, and that community continues to sort of innovate as well, take the solutions or the devices or the technology Arduino, and then uses in a way that is like, that's a new way of using it. That's a good use case. Do you agree?
Yeah, for us it's been very interesting because, Arduino started off many years ago as a prototyping platform mostly, and a teaching platform. But then a bunch of people started to put Arduinos inside machinery, inside sort of automation solutions for the industry. And then we were like, whoa, wait a second. But then we started to look into it and said, okay, this must be an interesting evolution for what we do, to build robust versions of what we do and serve a new kind of, say, automation engineers, you want to call them, because there's a bunch of other people coming to this market that are not trained, on classical PLCs and
see,
stuff.
But you're touching on a lot of points, because one, you cannot help if you have a product, a superior product. You can't help for the market or the community to say, you know what, I could take that and put it over here. You might not have thought about that. They're going to think about it, right? The other thing that you pointed out was the education component. It's like, okay, I got it, I see it, but I need to be it's constantly changing, and staying ahead of that education. That to me has always been a very fascinating component.
Yeah, that's an interesting aspect of the Arduino, in a way, the way Arduino works. We started off quite a few years ago, and now I would say, talking about Europe, for example, a lot of schools are now teaching students about STEM technology, robotics with Arduino. So there's been enough years in the Arduino history that now you have people that show up in companies and they're like, yeah, I could do this with an Arduino in half an hour, or we could spend several weeks trying to figure out with other technologies. And in a way, they're bringing this expertise. And for a number of smaller companies in Europe, the fact that they can open the door and they can grab a random person that knows how to use Arduino, it's obviously making easier. Obviously, the platform has evolved in a way that it supports professional use cases, but some of the things that people have learned at school, they can translate.
See, I do. And given today's market, given today's challenges that we have with people and the velocity that exists within this community, finding it always gets down to the person, right? It just does. Finding that person that understands, knows, and and that you can trust. That's for sure. Now let's segue here. Let's do something. What's that?
So this one is our latest product. It's called the Arduino Opta, and it's essentially it's Arduino Pro Opta, because Arduino Pro is kind of a part of Arduino that works on professional products that are developed and manufactured to industrial standards. And effectively, this is a micro PLC, but the interesting thing is that the hardware inside this thing is compatible with Arduino. You can program it in several different languages, including all the languages that PLC engineers normally use, so ladder, structured text, and everything else. But you can also program with Arduino. It's got a lot of different interfaces, so there are versions with RS485, Ethernet, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth. So you can use this thing also as a mini gateway with control capabilities, and it has several inputs that can be both analog or digital, and 4 high-power relay outputs. This one has been developed with this company called Finder, which is an Italian company that has been making relays and other industrial equipment for 70 years. So they are not, so the hardware inside here is designed and manufactured with and by this company that's been making these things for many, many years.
Yeah, if you're out on video, you'll see the device. It pretty much, it's got everything. I'm looking at all the connections and all of the, you name it, it has it in there. In this particular device, I see Finder, right? I got it. See Arduino Pro, by the way, it's right there on top. Is the Arduino solution, it's got to be internal?
Yeah.
It just Finder, because I look at the case, I look at the design, I look at all of the ports. That's up to Finder, right?
Yeah, basically there's, so inside here there is an ST microelectronics processor, which it has this real-time operating system and can be programmed using the Arduino, let's call it, language. But if you want, it can be programmed in other languages. It's actually way more powerful that would be needed just to build a simple, micro PLC like this one, because you can do different things. So it's a dual core processor. So for example, you can run small machine learning tasks. So you can read sensors, apply some algorithms, and then do control, but also talk to a cloud and send data. You can use it as a small gateway because it can connect to different equipment, extract data, and then bring the data. And, this can even be programmed with Python if someone is more like, obviously, it's probably not very well not very much used in industrial automation, but Python it is now the most popular language in the world.
Python is?
Yeah.
No. That's a truth bomb. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. One of the things outside of what we have here displayed is, can you explain to the listeners about just Arduino, sort of that open source approach? Because there are devices out here, no way, IoT devices, all of the devices that are out here, but they're not open. Why is that just a sort of a unique approach?
Yeah, so basically the Arduino product are open source. So depending on the type of product, this might mean that every single thing about the product is open source. So the hardware design, the software, the operating system, everything is open source. In other products, the software is open source for sure, everywhere. So the idea is that you're never effectively completely locked in, because you can always move the software to a different platform, or if you want to make modifications to the code that runs on your devices, you can always do it. Because we give you all the instructions on how to reprogram the devices, on to put different software on it. You don't like the Arduino IDE, you want to use another language, no problem, you can do it. Because we give you access to the processor, you can do whatever you want. So this freedom, to me, it's a guarantee for the people who are trying to implement solution with this thing. Because no matter what happens, they will always be able to put their hands in the product and fix anything. Even if I decide tomorrow that we're going to become a pizza place,
No, but there's an elegance or a beauty behind that open. Because for me, one of the areas that I don't ever want to be locked in. I don't want to have I want to have ultimate flexibility to put forth whatever solution, whatever it is, but having that ultimate flexibility. But I think the other area that is important here, not just that this also comes with a network of people that you can tap into, saying, I'm having a hard time, I'm trying, I'm just doing it, whatever it might be, but be able to find a solution. And that's all I care about.
Yeah, obviously, with Arduino, it's interesting because it's multiple layers. So obviously, we have a network of really cool system integrators that can help you integrate this technology. But even if you want to try to do it yourself, you have a small company, you want to find someone that knows how to program an Arduino, you can easily find it, even in a vocational training, vocational school, for example. People have learned about industrial automation on Arduino-based products. So you have this constant supply of people that are already, reasonably trained, so that you can put them to work. And also the fact that everything is open source allows you to dig down at every level. On one hand, to if there is something that you want to add that doesn't exist to the platform, you can do it. If you want to modify some features of it, you can do it. And even if there are bugs, we fix them. But in case you need it fixed in half an hour, you can even go in and find it. There are other products right now on the market that where the vendor has declared that there will probably never be a fix. So
snap.
That was like, whoops.
Yeah.
So obviously ours is a different philosophy. It carries a different set of.
And in light of that, in line with what you were saying, this is pretty interesting. Do you and Team Arduino ever sort of look at who is using like the demographics of who is using the solution?
Yeah.
Do you find younger people saying, oh yeah, here we go, and it just that's encouraging. That's a piece of data that's encouraging, because everybody's talking about we're having a hard time finding XYZ or whatever. So is that happening?
Oh yeah, especially a few months ago when we announced that we got an investment from a number of very cool investors. One of the stories we told is the fact that all these Gen Z kids are coming to work, and they're like, I can do this with an Arduino in half an hour. And so they're kind of disrupting a little bit, the market, because they bring a completely different approach, and they have these skills. They learned these skills when they were little kids.
See, I like that a lot. Now, I'm going back to the community. In the community mindset, let's say I'm a Gen Z, whatever the Gen is. I'm a young person, and I'm going in there and I'm making the modifications that meet whatever we're trying to do. Because it's open, do I just say, hey, I just did this with this product over here, and here's the code, whatever, and feed it into this sort of this ecosystem and say, check that out?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's one of the big processes behind open source. If you look at the software behind these things, there are hundreds, sometimes several thousand people who are actually contributing back modification, bug fixes, new features. It's a constant stream, and I think that's the beauty of open source. You have thousands of people looking at the same source code. Honestly, the reason I'm a big open source fan, right now there are parts of the software stack that are always open source. I don't think there's anyone building, for example, right now, a big web application with anything that's proprietary. At the moment,
you're right.
The web server, the language you use to program, everything is open source. So that particular world has been completely converted, and this is slowly propagating to the rest of the world. And I wanted a solution that will allow people to really understand deeply what they were using and to be able to contribute back. And the model has worked really well. So.
Yeah, but it also continues to refine and improve and just keep on honing the value that is delivered by a product like this and others. It's just like, it's been thoroughly tested.
Well, sometimes users introduce completely new features that we didn't realize or we didn't think people needed, and then boom, you have a new feature, and they say, would you like it? Like, yeah. And so we add it, and we have a new feature that we didn't realize.
I can imagine being around the table. Hey, check this out. Did you look at that? That's a new feature. Somebody just did that. Check it out. It's right there. I didn't realize that.
Also, I think one other aspect that's very interesting of this philosophy is that we have always been encouraging our users to share the projects they build with the technology. So, for example, in Arduino, it's very easy to find someone who's done something vaguely similar to what you might need in your next project, and they have documented what kind of tools they use, So there's a huge amount of starting points that you can find online, and we have a platform called Project Hub, where we encourage people to share the projects they build with Arduino technology, and more professional solutions are appearing for automation of different kinds.
Yeah, and given the realities of the market today, and then this juggernaut they call IoT, IIoT, whatever, data extraction, it's been going on for a long time, but right now everybody's paying attention to it, and it's all of a sudden just... for me personally, knowing that I could be a part of a community, knowing that I might have a problem, but I have access to answers or close to answers, it doesn't matter. Just something that I just think that's an incredible model, and the passion that a lot of these people have too.
Absolutely,
the community is just like.
No, I love that.
Passion.
Every morning you wake up, you look at the social media, and you find another 10 new projects.
Well,
thank you very much.
No, you are awesome. You're always awesome.
Thanks.
Smarter than me, but that's not saying much, just FYI. How do they get a hold of you? How do they say, hey, Massimo's my man, I want to get a hold of him, and I want to get a hold of
Arduino.cc is our website, /pro if you want to jump directly to the professional solutions. And
I've been out to your website. It's quite value added. It is. There's a lot of stuff going on out there, and I mean, you can root around there for a long time, get a lot of great information. Yeah, you guys you're knocking it out of the park. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And it's great to see you in person.
Yeah, finally.
That is pretty damn cool.
In the flesh.
I know, in the flesh,
in 3D.
All right, listeners, we're going to have all the contact information for Massimo as well as Arduino out on industrialtalk.com. Fear not, you must reach out. You must know more about Arduino. The solutions that are being offered by their Pro Series must just get information. You must do it. Just get it. All right, we're once again broadcasting from IoT Solutions World Congress 23. Put this on your calendar. You get people like Massimo, Team Arduino. You get to connect with them. It's a great event, so put it on for 24. All right, we're going to wrap it up on the other side, so stay tuned.
You're listening to the Industrial Talk Podcast Network.
All right, now how about that for a conversation? Massimo is the gent. Arduino is the company. Open source. This is an incredible platform that you need to dive into. If you're in the industrial IoT space and you're looking for solutions to connect your assets, and you're looking for an ecosystem to help you along with that journey, Arduino, reach out to them, find out more. Go to arduino.cc for additional information, and it's important. If you're not even in the digital transformation game, you need to be in it because your competition is in it, and you need to be a part of this whole journey that everybody's talking about. And I'm just telling you right now, they're passionate about their solutions out in Arduino. All right, once again, we're creating this platform that celebrates you industrial professionals all around the world. We have sprints, we have podcasts, of course, we have videos, we have webinars, we have a learning management system, all geared toward education, all geared toward collaborating, because you need to collaborate, and all geared toward innovation. Those are the pillars. Those are the musts that you have to continue to embrace. Go out to industrialtalk.com, find out more, get engaged, reach out to me, easy peasy, let's have a conversation. Tell your story because it is important. All right, be bold, be brave, dare greatly, hang out with people like Massimo, and you're going to change the world. Thank you once again for joining Industrial Talk and, of course, your support. We're going to have another great conversation coming from IoT Solutions World Congress, so stay tuned.